Well, I don't know about you, but I had a great time last night at the inaugural. The location was beautiful, the food was delicious, and the event was quick and easy. One thing I forgot to do when I was thanking certain people was to mention both Jenna Anderson, who served as a great teammate, and to thank my wife, Rose, who had to hear the words, "I can't, I've got some Rotary stuff to do," all too often. Thank you both. Tom Jansen led the event off with a prayer, and then we got in line to have dinner. Then after dinner, I had an opportunity to babble on about the past year, and Jenna created a vision for the upcoming year. Prior to our commentary, we had a chance to witness the awarding of Paul Harris Fellows. Two outstanding citizens, Gwen Tipton and Robert Probst, received the award, and two outstanding Rotarians, R.J. Ruse and Heidi Ramer, also received the award. So what follows for the rest of this Raz are those presentations by a series of people including Tom Jansen, Jerry Jansen, and RJ. And make sure you watch the end of the video so you don't miss RJ leading us out with some words of wisdom as well as the 4-way test of the things we think, say, and do.
One of the founding members of the Chicago Club that became Rotary. The first meeting was on February 23rd, 1905. Anybody remember that year? The idea was to bring business associates together to exchange ideas and develop relationships. Harris was the third president of their club. As president, he worked to expand the club into other communities, and by 1910, several other cities had joined in. Today, our Rotary Club wants to recognize someone special as a Paul Harris Fellow who has made a life supporting our community and the people in it. At this time, I'm supposed to call Julia Tipton forward, but I'm not going to. So, Gwen Tipton, would you please come forward? Yes, Julia. Gwen, her husband John, and family moved to Kenville from Albion in the late 1960s, raising 4 boys. Wow, Stan. She began working for Dick Cole, president of Flint Walling at that time, and continued as his executive secretary for 30 years. She's been an active member of the community, serving on the founding board of the Community Foundation of Noble County, and she played an active role in working with the Lilly Foundation to establish our local foundation. That's good. That was fun. Alongside Dick Cole, she helped to set up the Olive B. Cole Foundation. She was the first to create and manage their scholarship program, working with local schools and high school students to ensure that scholarships were awarded and guidelines were followed. She continues to serve on the Cole Foundation Board of Directors, where she works to ensure that the mission of the foundation stays strong and works to support the community through financial assistance. She also serves in the Community Concert Committee and the Professional Business Women's Organization. A lifelong member of St. Mark's Lutheran Church in Albion, she serves various leadership roles within that church. And along with all her work within our community, she's managed to raise 4 sons and gets to enjoy 15 grandchildren, 19 great-grandchildren, with a couple more on the way. Wow, what a wonderful thing. With that. The Rotary Foundation of Rotary International is hereby naming Gwen Tipton as a Paul Harris Fellow in appreciation of tangible and significant assistance given for the furtherance of better understanding and friendly relations among the peoples of the world. Thank you, Gwen. Judge Robert Probst, will you please come forward? Good evening. I I think you were brought in for pretenses of Gwen getting an award this evening. Well, that's why you're here. And you know, there's a lot of people in this community that do a lot of great things, and you're one of those. So now I'm going to read about you a little bit. You ready for this? Okay, Bob graduated from Kendall High School in 1953. Albany College, Michigan, in 1957. And then he attended law school in Valparaiso, graduating in 1960. Upon that time, he returned to Kendall to practice law with his dad. In 1961, he joined the Air National Guard and spent a year of active duty in the United States Air Force. And I heard a little bit about that a while ago, and I was shocked. I didn't know all the people in the community you were with overseas and everything else. I need to hear more of that. It was really a nice story I was getting into. Always eager to help keep Kendall growing and progressing, he was the first Kendall Park Board president, serving the inaugural board from 1965 to 1974. He was required to leave the board when he was first elected to become a Noble County judge in 1974. He then retired from the bench in 1998, but remained active for some years, sitting as a senior judge. He was honored by then Governor Frank O'Bannon in 1998 as a Sagamore Law Bench. In 1910, he was named Kendall Citizen of the Year. As his faith in God has always been important to him, Bob is still very active at St. John's Church, serving in various leadership roles. He served for many years as secretary of the church council and is currently an elder, a member of the church choir, and works with fellow retirees each week to keep St. John's Church in good repair. Bob serves on the ACD Festival Board. That brings us the Albert Cord-Duesenberg Festival each year. He also volunteers there as part of the automotive maintenance team in the museum. And I think he has a great love for cars if you've ever been around Allenville. It's amazing what he knows and what he does over there. He's been one to recognize the need and is one first to take action. He currently sits on the boards of the Community Foundation of Noble County, the Art Foundation of Noble County, is a member of the Kendall Tree Commission, and he was a member of the former Kiwanis Club in Kendall. I think they're getting that started again. I'm hearing. That gives you something else to do. And he was one of the driving forces behind the development and restoration of the former Kendall Middle School, which is now a community learning center, and currently serves as president of the board, attending all their committee meetings. This guy has done a lot in our community, and we would like to present him with Paul Harris Fellow. He's just a nuisance, isn't he? It is my privilege to be able to introduce one of the newer Rotarian members becoming a Paul Harris Fellow tonight. RJ, you're welcome to come forward any time. Kendallville gained a true asset about 1984, moving here with a toddler and a high school sweetheart for a spouse. He settled in very quickly. Advertising was his business calling, and the country music he promoted in the region promoted Kendallville as well as the station WBTU. Jumping into Rotary and eventually many facets of the community, this individual embodies service above self. Here it goes. I remember our first double date. Stopping at an ATM and having Darylyn say he never remembered the numbers he had asked for. And sure enough, seconds later, he came back to the car for a second ask. I realized then that Bob and I had more in common than high school sweethearts and the firstborn the same age. We were very both dependent on our wives. So it goes with all of his involvement, from Cub Scouts and Kendall Youth Baseball and all the way to the YMCA and soccer programs, and eventually, serving on the board of directors for the Y for a long time. He's been very involved and has stayed involved throughout with community service. I still can't say that calling him RJ comes easy for me. It's always been Bob. But I will say that presenting this Paul Harris Fellow to my heterosexual life partner, Bob Ruse, makes me feel honored. Bob, thanks for all you do. he forgot it. I wasn't there to remind him. So you're on.
I was distracted. So our next Paul Harris is a multiple Paul Harris. This is someone who has given to that threshold of $1,000 more than once. And it's my honor to present that multiple Paul Harris to that person tonight. Now, this person's been a Rotarian for over 20 years. Joined the club, newly married, moving to town, a young mother who not long after was pregnant with her second child, who's here tonight. Over the time, she became an active Rotarian, got very involved in what we do. She headed up pajama drives for very severe cases where the police had to take children out of drug houses. She became our Rotarian president. She headed up many of our very, very important projects, and has really proven herself, most recently, very active in our church, and in a very heartfelt publication involving the lifetime of her mother, and has become very well known in that. And so for contributions to the club and to the foundation, Heidi, go on. You knew this was coming eventually, but we want to make it special for you. There you go.
Would you like to take some words?
I know you can fill up. I know you can fill up an hour and a half. Thank you for all you've done for the club and for the community and to the world at large. To close every meeting with inspirational wisdom and thoughts. And I publish them every week in a program guide that not everybody sees, just the Rotarians, but very often I veer from that to something that I find irrelevant and irreverent. And so tonight, I think I'm going to quote famous comedian Tater Salad, Ron White, who says, "If life gives you lemons, thank them and take them, and then look for somebody who life gave vodka. And then go out and have a really good party." With that, will all the Rotarians rise and join with me in the forward test of the things we think, say, and do? This is the truth. This is the care to all concerned. Will build goodwill and better